Hey, social media writers. This week we want to talk about LinkedIn, which is not the place where most people hang out for fun, but it is the place that people hang out for business. And that's why it's potentially an important tool for your social media strategy. Uh, we've looked at social media platforms that are driven by short posts and images. LinkedIn is actually more writing oriented. You can put more content there than you can put in almost any other social media platform. And it's super useful if your target audiences include people who are professionals or other organizations. At UA Little Rock, we're just beginning to explore how LinkedIn might be our next most important platform. And you can kind of imagine why that would be true. Many of the people who go on to pursue a graduate degree are doing so because they want to get to the next level in their career. So they're either already in an organization and they're looking to move to a different career, or they're looking to move ahead in that organization and they need a way to do so. Publishing content on LinkedIn could be a really valuable way for us to reach serious minded professionals uh, in more depth than we could possibly reach them on Facebook or Instagram. So, because we're just in the very beginning of this process, I don't have a really detailed example page to show you, but that's actually kind of an advantage because you can actually see what our page looks like in the very early stages when we're just beginning to put things on it. And you can see how you could build it out into something really spectacular. Hang on a second, let me share my window with you. Okay, so here we are in the very early stages of what will be the Department of Rhetoric and Writing LinkedIn account. You can see that literally all I've done is put in the logo that the Office of Communications gave me to put in here. Because interestingly, the reason we created this account at all was to help a student do some research. We didn't even necessarily plan to take advantage of it. But the more I've been reading about LinkedIn this semester in preparation for this class, the more I've realized that this is a very powerful platform. All right, so notice that it gives me several different ways that I can begin to edit the content of this page. I can add a background cover image up here in the left-hand corner by clicking that edit area. I like that it gives me today's actions, which makes it possible for me to make little changes slowly but surely to gradually build this out. And so one of the first things it asks me to do is to add a cover image. We're going to need some to feature some top content, uh, that kind of information. Uh, Here's the powerful thing, though, that I really want you to see. So look when I come over here to the left-hand menu and click the blue Create button. Check out the types of content we can create here. Okay, so notice that you can start a post, and this is not unlike the typical Facebook or Instagram posts that we've been writing this semester, but it can go longer. So it's not uncommon for a LinkedIn post to go a couple of paragraphs, for example, whereas uh, when we're talking about Facebook, we're talking about 5 sentences, and we're talking about Instagram, we're talking about usually even less, even though the characters will let you do more. See that LinkedIn lets you create and publicize events to your community. You can actually do job advertising on LinkedIn. But here, this is the crazy thing. So you can actually write whole scale articles, like whole blog articles, for example, on your LinkedIn site. Why is this such a great feature? Well, what if you're a baby organization that can't even necessarily afford to have a polished website designed, or you don't have that expertise yet? You can actually use LinkedIn as a place for your long form content and then use your other social media platforms to drive people back to LinkedIn. An additional advantage of this is that LinkedIn has a high authority rating with Google and other search engines. So if you have a good LinkedIn page, it's going to appear high in the search rankings for your organization. For that same reason, you can create a showcase page inside LinkedIn, which is like a mini web page, and it's all free. You don't have to pay anything for any of this. So I encourage you to think about exploring LinkedIn as a possibility for your organization. Again, if you want to reach other organizations as part of your target audience, whether that's as donors, whether that's as collaborators, or whether that's as clients, and if you have other professionals in your target audiences. Okay, let me show you something else cool that you can do in LinkedIn. So here's what an article looks like in LinkedIn. So the organization that's published this is called A Spark of Optimism, and they have over 800,000 subscribers. So that's pretty sweet. You get a nice subscribe link at the top of the article, and here's the article that they have posted. You can actually share these articles on your social media simply by coming up here to the top of the browser, copying that link, and pasting it into Facebook. So let me stop this share and share another window. Oh shoot, where did it go? There it is. Okay, so when does, now I can't actually see. Oh, here it is. So in this window, if I come up here to, if I create, oh, I have to switch to create the post. So if I come in here as the page and just paste the URL in like that, notice that it changes to whatever the main graphic is of that article. And then what I would suggest to you is now that you've got the link down here, take out the URL and type some kind of comment to get people interested because you've still got to motivate them to make the click. But I love this because look at how beautiful that looks, and it's an easy way to share it. Now, the last piece of advice that I'll give you comes from a marketing expert friend of mine who says that the only danger of posting a link to something else on Facebook, for example, is that Facebook would really rather that you stayed at Facebook. It doesn't really want for you to go to other platforms. So you may not get as wide a distribution for stuff where you're sharing a link. That doesn't mean, though, that it isn't worth your while to do it. And on top of that, you can push it further by boosting the post. So again, I want to recommend LinkedIn to you as a potential platform where you could build some really professional stuff for your organization that could drive your content marketing and that could also serve a secondary purpose, which is creating high-ranking SEO materials that people are going to be able to find on the web that looks really credible and lets you do some detailed information without having to pay for web hosting or being an expert at web design. Okay, I hope you find this information useful this week. I'm looking forward to seeing your Project 3 proposals, which are due this coming Tuesday. If you have not already made an appointment to discuss your draft of the proposal with me, please make sure that you get that done. Time slots are going very quickly. I still do have quite a bit of time on Sunday, though. If you want to grab it, hurry and get on my appointment calendar and get signed up. Okay, thanks, y'all. Have a great week. See you soon.